Lost in the middle of nowhere, the hunter who found me wanted more than directions. The gravel crunched under my tires like brittle bones snapping, each pop echoing the panic clawing at my chest. I gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white as bone, staring at the dashboard's dying glow. Empty tank, no signal, nothing but miles of endless Nebraska flatlands stretching out like a bad dream. It was supposed to be a simple detour, a shortcut through the sandhills to clear my head after dumping that cheating prick back in Omaha. But now, with the sun dipping low and painting the sky bloody orange, I was lost. Truly, gut-wrenchingly lost. And the one thing I feared more than the isolation. The voice in my head whispering that maybe I deserved it. 28 years old, freelance photographer chasing shadows for a living, always running from the mess I made of my own heart. Sweat beaded on my forehead, mixing with the stale coffee breath fogging the windshield. I killed the engine, the sudden silence roaring louder than any storm. Crickets started their nightly symphony, a low hum that vibrated through the car like a warning. I stepped out, boots sinking into the cool dirt, the sharp scent of sagebrush hitting me like a slap. My phone was useless, a brick in my pocket. "Fuck," I muttered, kicking a rock that skittered into the dusk like it was fleeing too. That's when I heard it, the distant crack of a branch, deliberate, not animal. My pulse thundered in my ears. Out here, stories of drifters and worse flickered like old horror reels in my mind. I froze, breath shallow, tasting the metallic tang of fear on my tongue. Another snap, closer now, leaves rustling like whispered secrets. A shadow detached from the tree-line, tall and broad-shouldered, moving with the quiet grace of someone who owned the wild. He emerged into the fading light, rifle cradled easy in one arm, his face half hidden under a worn baseball cap. Flannel shirt stretched over a chest that spoke of hard labor. Jeans faded from years of wear, boots caked in mud. 35 if he was a day, eyes sharp as flint under thick brows, a beard framing a jaw that could cut glass. He stopped 10 feet away, sizing me up like prey, and damn if that gaze didn't send a shiver straight to my core. Not all fear, either. "You lost, city boy?" His voice was gravel and smoke, low timbre rolling out like thunder over the plains. American through and through, that drawl hinting at generations rooted in this unforgiving soil. I swallowed hard, throat dry as the dust swirling at our feet. Yeah, gas ran dry. No map, no service. Just trying to get to Alliance before dark. He tilted his head, the corner of his mouth twitching. Not quite a smile, more like a predator deciding if you were worth the chase. The air between us thickened, charged with the scent of pine sap and his faint sweat, earthy and alive. He stepped closer, boots silent now on the grass, and I caught the glint of a silver wedding band on his left hand. Married, of course. Why wouldn't fate throw that in my face? Alliance is 40 miles east. You're way off. Roads out, here's more suggestion than fact. He nodded toward my beat-up Jeep. Pop the hood. Might be able to jury-rig something, but you'll owe me. Owe him. The words hung heavy, laced with something unspoken that made my skin prickle. I hesitated, heart hammering a rhythm that echoed the distant howl of a coyote. But what choice did I have? I popped the hood, the metal creaking like an old man's sigh, and watched him lean in, muscles shifting under his shirt as he tinkered. His hands were calloused, scarred from hunts and harvests, fingers deft with tools pulled from a belt pouch. Up close, he smelled of gun oil and fresh earth, a far cry from the cologne-drenched bars back home. "Name's Harlan," he said after a beat, not looking up. "Hunt for a living, mostly deer season. Keeps the lights on in my cabin yonder." He jerked his chin toward the darkening woods. "Alex," I replied, voice steadier than I felt. "Photographer. Chasing. Stories, I guess." He grunted, straightening up with a spark plug in hand. "Stories. Out here, only ones worth tellin' involve survival." His eyes met mine then, dark and piercing, holding just a fraction too long. Heat flushed my cheeks, and I looked away, focusing on the way the wind whispered through the grass, carrying the faint chill of night. We worked in tense silence, him explaining the fix in clipped sentences while I handed tools, our fingers brushing once. Electric, accidental, but neither of us pulled back quick enough. The engine sputtered to life eventually, a reluctant growl that matched the knot in my gut. "That'll get you 10 miles, Harlan said, wiping his hands on a rag. "Enough to hit the highway if you don't dawdle." But he paused, rubbing his beard, gaze flicking to the stars pricking the sky. "Storm's brewin'. Best not risk it alone." Storm. I hadn't noticed the clouds rolling in, heavy and bruised, the air turning thick with ozone. Thunder rumbled low, a promise of chaos. My stomach twisted. Drive into the unknown or trust the stranger with eyes that stripped you bare. "What are you offering?" I asked, the words slipping out bolder than intended. He chuckled, a deep rumble that vibrated through me. "Cabin's got a spare cot. Dry, warm. Come morning. I'll point you right." His hand clamped on my shoulder, firm, grounding, the warmth seeping through my thin jacket like an invitation I shouldn't accept. But in that moment, with lightning flickering on the horizon, I nodded. What harm in one night? Little did I know, Harlan's idea of directions led straight to the heart of everything I'd been running from. The drive to his place was a blur of headlights cutting through pitch black, rain starting as fat drops slapping the windshield like accusations. His truck led the way, taillights glowing red as sin. I followed, tires hydroplaning on mudslick roads that twisted like veins through the hills. My mind raced. Why was I doing this? A lifetime of hookups in shadowed alleys, quick and anonymous, had taught me better than to linger. But Harlan, there was a pull, magnetic, dangerous, the kind that whispered of what-ifs in the quiet hours. We pulled up to a weathered log cabin nestled against a rise, porch light spilling golden welcome over stacked firewood and a rusted swing. Rain hammered now, drumming on the roof as I dashed inside, drenched in seconds. Harlan was already there, shaking water from his cap, a fire crackling in the stone hearth that chased the damp chill. The place smelled of aged wood and smoked meat, simple, kitchen table scarred from use, shelves lined with jars of preserves, a faded American flag pinned above the door. Home. Real, unpolished home. "Strip out of those wet things," he said, tossing me a towel without preamble. His back was to me as he stoked the flames, but I felt his awareness like a touch. I peeled off my shirt, skin pebbling in the warmth, jeans heavy as lead. The towel was rough, absorbing the rivulets tracing my collarbone, and I caught him glancing, subtle but there, in the reflection of a window pane. My breath hitched, a soft exhale that mingled with the fire's snap. He handed me a mug of black coffee, steam curling like secrets, our fingers lingering this time. "Sit. Eat." A plate appeared, venison stew, thick and savory, chunks of meat that melted on the tongue with hints of rosemary from his garden. We ate across from each other, forks scraping porcelain, the storm raging outside like it mirrored the one building inside me. Conversation flowed halting, him talking hunts, the thrill of the stalk, the quiet after the shot. Me sharing fragments of city life, the click of my camera capturing fleeting truths. "You're runnin' from something," he said suddenly, eyes locking on mine over the rim of his mug. The firelight danced in his irises, turning them amber. I set my fork down, the clink loud in the hush. Rain lashed the windows, wind howling through cracks. "Everyone is." My voice cracked, raw. "Boyfriend, ex now. Caught him with someone else. Thought the road would fix it." Harlan leaned back, chair creaking under his weight. He sighed, long and heavy, the sound carrying the weight of his own unspoken burdens. "Fixin' don't come from miles. Comes from fasten." His hand reached across, covering mine, rough palm against smooth, worlds colliding. The touch ignited something fierce, a spark that raced up my arm, pooling low in my belly. I didn't pull away, neither did he. That night, sleep evaded me on the cot by the fire, the blanket scratchy against my skin. Harlan's snores rumbled from the next room, steady as a heartbeat. I lay there, staring at the ceiling beams, the scent of him lingering on the air. Musk and wood smoke. Thunder rolled, shaking the walls, and I wondered what it would feel like to have those arms around me. Not as rescuer, but as equal. Desire twisted sharp, mingled with terror. By dawn, when the rain eased to a patter, I knew one thing for sure. Directions weren't the only thing I wanted from Harlan, and that scared me more than any storm. Sunlight sliced through the cabin windows like a knife, pulling me from a restless half-sleep where dreams tangled Harlan's face with ghosts of lovers past. I sat up, muscles aching from the lumpy cot, the fire reduced to glowing embers that whispered of last night's confessions. Coffee brewed on the stove, its bitter aroma curling through the air, mingling with the damp earthiness left by the storm. Harlan was outside already, axe biting into wood with rhythmic thwacks that echoed like a challenge. Steady, unyielding, the sound of a man carving out his place in the world. I pulled on my still damp clothes, the fabric clinging cold to my skin, and stepped onto the porch. The air was crisp, washed clean, birdsong piercing the quiet like silver arrows. Harlan paused mid-swing, sweat glistening on his forearms, shirt sleeves rolled to elbows revealing faded tattoos. An eagle in flight, inked in his wilder youth. He wiped his brow with the back of his hand, flashing a grin that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Mornin', Alex. Sleep all right? Better than the Jeep?" I admitted, leaning against the rail, the wood rough under my palms. My heart stuttered at the sight of him, broad back flexing, the easy power in his stance. American heartland through and through, born and bred in these hills, hunting not just for meat but for the solitude that kept demons at bay. He chuckled, setting the axe aside with a thud that vibrated up my spine. "Come on, then. Breakfast. Can't send you off on an empty stomach." Inside, he fried eggs in a cast-iron skillet, yolks popping and sizzling, bacon crisping to that perfect salty snap. We ate at the table, knees brushing under it. Accidental at first, then not. The contact sent sparks skittering, and I shifted, pretending to reach for salt, but my eyes betrayed me, flicking to his mouth as he chewed. Talk turned to the road ahead. "Highway's clear now," he said, mopping yolk with toast. "But if you're shooting photos, there's a ridge 10 miles out. Views that'll knock your socks off. Elk up there this time of year." His voice dropped lower on views, laced with something that made my throat tight. I nodded, fork pausing mid-air. "Maybe I will. Got time before my next gig in Denver." No gig, just escape. But the idea of lingering, of extending this fragile thread between us, tugged hard. Harlan's gaze held mine, searching, the room shrinking around us. The clock ticked on the wall, a metronome to my quickening pulse. "Stay then. Show me how you see the world through that lens of yours." He stood, clearing plates with deliberate slowness, his hip grazing mine as he passed. Heat bloomed where we touched, lingering like a brand. I followed him out to the truck, camera slung over my shoulder, the strap a lifeline to normalcy. The drive was silent mostly, engine rumbling over rutted paths, windows down to let in the rush of wind carrying wildflower scents, sweet and fleeting. Harlan pointed out landmarks. "That creek? Best trout in the county." His hand gestured close to my thigh, not touching, but the air crackled with intent. At the ridge, we hiked a quarter-mile trail, boots crunching gravel, breath sinking in the thin air. The view exploded below, rolling dunes of grass like golden waves, horizon smudged blue where sky met earth. I knelt, framing shots, the shutter clicking soft as breaths. Harlan watched, arms crossed, a quiet intensity in his stance. "You're good," he murmured, crouching beside me. Our shoulders pressed, solid and warm, and I fumbled the focus, heart slamming. "Been doing it since college," I said, voice husky. "Art school dropout. Pays the bills barely." I lowered the camera, turning to him. Up close, freckles dusted his nose, hidden by beard shadow. His scent enveloped me, sweat and sun-warmed skin. He reached out, thumb brushing a leaf from my hair, the touch feather-light but seismic. Time stuttered. "What are you really chasing, Alex?" The question hung, raw, pulling at scars I kept shuttered. I exhaled, shaky, the wind whipping my words away. "Someone who sees me, all of me." The admission burned, vulnerable as stripped wire. Harlan's eyes darkened, storm clouds gathering. He leaned in, breath ghosting my cheek. Mint from toothpaste, overlaid with morning coffee. "I see you." Then his lips were on mine, tentative at first, testing, then hungry, beard scraping deliciously against my jaw. I melted into it, hands fisting his shirt, tasting salt and need. The world narrowed to this. His growl low in his throat, fingers tangling in my hair, pulling just enough to arch my back. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the ridge silent witness. But joy soured quick. That ring glinted on his finger, a cold reminder. "Harlan." I pulled back, chest heaving. "The wife, kids." His face shuddered, jaw clenching like he'd bitten down on glass. He stepped away, staring at the vista, hands shoved deep in pockets. Wind howled, carrying his sigh, long, defeated. "Sarah, 20 years. But it's empty. Been empty since the accident took her laugh." He rubbed his neck, voice cracking on the edge. "Hidin' who I am to keep the farm, the life. But you. Shit, Alex. You make me want more." Guilt twisted in me, sharp as barbed wire. I was the spark to his powder keg, but igniting it could burn us both. "We can't." Words died as he turned, eyes pleading, raw with a hunger that mirrored my own. "Come back to the cabin," he whispered, voice rough as the land. "Just one more night. No promises. Just us." I nodded against every screaming instinct. The hike down blurred, his hand in mine now, calluses mapping my palm like a promise. Back at the cabin, afternoon light slanted gold through windows, dust motes dancing like fireflies. We didn't speak much, words too heavy. Instead, touches spoke volumes. His fingers tracing my collarbone as I unpacked my camera. Me snapping candid shots of him chopping onions for chili, laughter bubbling when he hammed for the lens. Dinner simmered, spicy warmth filling the air, but tension simmered hotter. We ate on the porch as dusk fell, stars winking on like hesitant confessions. His knee pressed mine under the table, deliberate now, sending heat coiling low. "Tell me about him," Harlan said softly, swirling beer in his bottle. "The ex." I sighed, the sound swallowed by crickets. "Jake, bartender. Charms everyone. Means no one." The words tasted bitter, like oversteeped tea. I thought it was love. Woke up to him tangled with the neighbor. Harlan's hand found my thigh, squeezing gentle. "Fool, you're worth more than that." His thumb circled, igniting trails of fire through denim. I covered his hand, holding it there, pulse thundering in sync with the distant train whistle cutting the night. Later, by the fire, embers glowing like banked desire, he pulled me close. No rush, just slow exploration, shirts shed with sighs, skin meeting skin in the flickering light. His mouth on my neck, hot and insistent, drawing moans I couldn't stifle. "God, Alex," he breathed, voice wrecked, hands roaming with reverence. We moved together, bodies speaking what hearts feared. Urgent, tender, a collision of lonely souls. Afterward, tangled in blankets, his heartbeat steady under my cheek, I traced the ring scar on his finger, faded but there. "Sarah knows," he murmured into my hair, voice thick with smoke and regret. "About this side. We don't talk it, but she sees the emptiness." My chest ached, a hollow throb. "What now?" The question whispered into the dark, fragile as moth wings. He kissed my temple, lips lingering. "Now, we figure it together." But dawn loomed, and with it, the pull of roads diverging. As sleep claimed him, snores soft and even, I lay awake, the fire's dying crackle mocking my resolve. One night had become a precipice, and jumping meant freefall into unknown depths. Morning light filtered through the cabin's lace curtains. Sarah's touch, Harlan had said once, with a wistful edge that cut deeper than intended. I woke to the smell of pancakes, golden and fluffy, syrup bubbling on the stove like sweet lies. Harlan moved around the kitchen in boxers and a threadbare tee, humming an old country tune under his breath, the melody rough but earnest. His body, marked by sun and scars, moved with a grace that belied his size, and watching him, chest still humming from last night's echoes, I felt a dangerous ache bloom. Not just lust, but the terrifying seed of belonging. He slid a plate my way, blue eyes twinkling mischief. "Fuel up, shutterbug. Got a spot by the river today. Perfect light for your art." The pause on art carried weight. A nod to the way I'd captured him last night, bare and unguarded, camera forgotten in the heat. I grinned, digging in, the fork tines scraping ceramic like a secret shared. Bossy for a host. But I went because saying no to Harlan felt like denying gravity. The river trail wound through cottonwoods, leaves rustling gold overhead. The water's rush a constant murmur that drowned my doubts. We walked close, shoulders bumping, his fingers grazing mine until they laced proper, a quiet claim. The air hummed with birdsong and the faint, loamy scent of wet bank, and for a moment, it was easy, two men stealing time from the world. At the bend, where willows dipped lazy into the current, I set up my tripod, framing the bend where light danced on ripples like scattered diamonds. Harlan watched, then waded in ankle-deep, water splashing cool against his calves. "Come on," he called, voice carrying that drawl like warm bourbon. I stripped to shorts, the chill nipping my skin, and joined him, laughter bubbling as we splashed like kids, the cold shocking the last of sleep away. His hands found my waist underwater, pulling me flush, mouths meeting in a kiss salted by river spray. Desire flared quick, but we banked it, content with the tease, the promise. He paused, stone mid-throw, muscles coiling. The wind sighed through branches, carrying his exhale. "Every damn day, but this land, it's in my blood. Grandpa broke it, Dad held it, now me." He turned, eyes shadowed. "Sarah's tied to it too. Cancer scare last year, beat it, but it changed things. Made me see how short the fuse is." My throat tightened, empathy twisting with jealousy. A ghost wife, ever present. "She'd hate me?" I said, half joke, half truth, picking at grass blades that stuck damp to my fingers. Harlan knelt before me, hands on my knees, parting them gentle. "She ain't the hating kind, and you're light in the dark, Alex." His lips brushed my inner thigh, feather soft, sending shivers racing. I cupped his face, thumb tracing beard, pulling him up for a kiss that tasted of river and regret. We made love there, slow and unhurried under the willows, bodies sinking to the river's rhythm. His gasps mingling with my moans, skin slick with sweat and mist. Afterward, curled together on the bank, his head on my chest, I felt the world tilt, foundations cracking. But reality intruded like a cold front. My phone buzzed in my pack, a weak signal bar flickering life. Texts from Jake. Miss you. Come back. It was nothing. Lies sharp as hooks. I deleted them, but the poison lingered, Harlan sensing the shift as we dressed. Trouble? He asked, voice laced with that protective growl. Just echoes? I muttered, zipping my bag with more force than needed. The zipper's rasp echoed my irritation. He nodded, not pushing, but his hand squeezed my shoulder. Firm, anchoring. Echoes fade. Truth don't. We hiked back in companionable quiet, but tension simmered, unspoken questions hanging like humidity before a storm. Afternoon brought chores, Harlan teaching me to clean his rifle, oil-slick cloth gliding over metal with reverent strokes. His fingers guided mine, patient, the scent of solvent sharp in the air. Steady pressure, he murmured, breath warm on my ear. Like this. The innuendo hung, drawing a laugh from me, lightening the mood. But as sun arced west, painting the cabin crimson, a truck rumbled up the drive. Sarah's brother, come for feed sacks, his squint suspicious as he clapped Harlan's back too hard. Harlan, who's the stray? The man drawled, eyes raking me over like I was trespassing. Alex, photographer, car trouble. Harlan's tone was even, but his body tensed beside me, a wall of muscle. The brother grunted, loading sacks with grunts and scrapes, conversation skirting weather and crops. I felt exposed, the outsider in their tapestry, and excused myself to the porch, heart pounding. Harlan joined me after, beer in hand, the screen door slapping shut like a judgment. Ignore Roy. Small town, smaller minds. I took the bottle, our fingers brushing, cold glass, warm skin. Does he know? About us? Harlan sighed, sinking into the swing, chains creaking under our weight. The evening chorus swelled. Frogs croaking bass, crickets fiddling high. No. And it stays that way. For now. The for now dangled hope and hurt, a thorn in my side. Night fell soft, fireflies blinking like winking stars. We ate stew again, Harlan's recipe with a kick of cayenne that burned going down, matching the fire in his eyes across the table. After, in bed, his this time, sheets worn soft from years, we explored slower, mapping each other with touches and whispers. His body was a landscape of contrasts, hard plains softened by give, scars telling tales of falls and fights. I traced them with lips, eliciting shudders and curses breathed hot against my neck. Alex, fuck, you undo me? He groaned, hips grinding urgent, the mattress springs protesting our rhythm. Climax crashed like waves, leaving us wrecked and whispering in the afterglow. His arm heavy over my waist, breath evening out. I stared at the ceiling, moon shadows playing across beams. What if I stay? The words escaped unbidden, vulnerable as an exposed nerve. He stirred, kissing my shoulder, lips lingering. Then we build something real. But it won't be easy. Folks round here, they talk. And Sarah. His voice trailed, heavy with the weight of vows unbroken. I turned, facing him, noses brushing. Easy's overrated. But sleep came fitful. Dreams haunted by rings and recriminations. The river's rush turning to accusations. Dawn broke gray, clouds scudding low. Harlan was up first, coffee brewing, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. Storm front move in again. Roads'll flood. Code for delay, for more stolen hours. I nodded, relief warring with guilt. We spent the day battening down. Nailing shutters with hammer blows that echoed my hammering heart, stacking sandbags by the creek with splashes and curses. His laughter rang when I slipped, mud caking my jeans, pulling me up with hands that lingered, thumbs circling hips. As rain pattered start, we retreated inside, bodies seeking warmth. The storm raged, thunder shaking windows like angry fists, lightning etching his face in stark relief as we coupled on the rug. Fierce, desperate, rain drumming counterpoint to our gasps. Mine, he growled against my throat, possession raw and real. I arched, nails digging his back, whispering his name like prayer. But in the quiet after, wrapped in quilts, doubt crept. Jake's texts haunted, a siren call to simpler pains. And Sarah, faceless, but ever-present, loomed like the storm clouds. Harlan slept, face slack in repose, and I traced his lips, wondering if love was worth the wreckage. Outside, wind howled, mirroring the turmoil within, as the first real crack appeared in our fragile idyll. Rain sheeted the windows like a veil, blurring the world outside to gray smears, trapping us in the cabin's intimate cocoon. I paced the creaky floorboards, camera in hand, snapping shots of rain-slick panes and Harlan's profile etched by lamplight. Jaw set, eyes distant as he whittled a piece of pine into a rough deer shape. The knife scraped wood in steady rasps, each curl falling like shed secrets, the sharp tang of fresh shavings mixing with the stew's lingering spice. Thunder grumbled low, a beast pacing just beyond the door, and every boom sent my pulse skittering, amplifying the tension coiling between us. Harlan set the knife down, the clink sharp in the hush. Sit, Alex. You're wearing a hole in my floor. His voice was soft, coaxing, but threaded with that underlying steel, the hunter's patience fraying at edges. I dropped onto the couch beside him, thigh pressing his, the denim barrier thin as resolve. Can't help it. It's like a dream I don't want to wake from. But no, I will. Words tumbled, raw, tasting of the fear lodged in my chest. He turned, carving forgotten, hand cupping my neck, thumb stroking pulse point, grounding. His eyes, storm dark, searched mine. Ain't no wakin' if we don't let it. Leaning in, he kissed me slow, deliberate, lips parting mine with a sigh that vibrated through me. The world narrowed. His taste of black tea and want, beard tickling chin, hands roaming under shirt to trace ribs like braille. We tumbled back, couch springs groaning protest, bodies aligning in familiar hunger. Rain lashed harder, a frantic percussion to our rhythm. His hips grinding mine, gasps swallowed in kisses, fingers fumbling buttons with urgent tugs. Need you, he breathed, voice wrecked, nipping my earlobe sharp enough to draw a hiss. I arched, legs wrapping his waist, the friction electric, building to that white-hot edge. Climax hit like lightning, shattering, leaving us panting, slick and sated, his weight a welcome anchor. After, tangled in throw blankets, fire crackling lazy, he traced patterns on my chest. Lazy swirls that dipped lower, teasing. Tell me 'bout your folks, he murmured, chin on my shoulder, breath warm. I hesitated, the rain's patter filling the pause. Dad's an accountant in Chicago, suits and spreadsheets, never got the artsy thing. Mom, she left when I was 10. Said the city's noise drowned her. The words stung, old wounds reopening. Jake was my attempt at normal, hidden in plain sight. Harlan hummed, low and thoughtful, fingers stilling. Hidin's a hell all its own. My old man caught me once, kissin' a farmhand behind the barn. Beat the truth out of me, said it'd make me straight. His laugh was bitter, scraped raw. Didn't take. Sarah was the compromise, sweet girl, good cover. But love? That's you, lying here, making me feel alive. Guilt knifed me, sharp for her, for him. We can't build on ruins, Harlan. What about her heart? He sighed, long and heavy, rolling to stare at the ceiling beams, shadows dancing like ghosts. Sarah and I, we talk now since you. Last night on the phone, storm knocked lines, but we connected. She's moved in to town closer to docks. Wants me free. The confession hung, heavy as the humid air, thunder punctuating the end. Free. The word echoed, hope flaring bright, but chased by shadows. My phone buzzed again. Jake, persistent. We can fix this. You're mine. I silenced it, but Harlan saw, jaw tightening. That him? Yeah. I tossed it aside, the thud muffled by cushions. Noise, like Mom said. He pulled me closer, arm banding tight. Then cut the line. Simple, profound. We dozed then, rain lulling to drizzle, waking to clearing skies and the scent of wet earth steaming under sun. Afternoon cleared paths, mud sucking at boots as we checked the creek. Swollen, raging but not breached. Harlan's laugh rang when I slipped again, hauling me up with a kiss that tasted of mud and mirth. Clumsy city boy, he teased, nuzzling my neck, teeth grazing pulse. You're clumsy, I shot back, hands fisting his shirt, pulling for more. We made it quick against a tree, bark rough on my back, his thrusts urgent, grunts swallowed by wind. After, zipping up with sheepish grins, he slung an arm around me. Ridge again? Light's golden hour. We went, camera clicking frenzy, him posing dramatic on outcrops, wind tousling hair, then candid laughs as we chased each other through grass. Sweat cooled on skin, the air alive with possibility. But descending, my boot caught rock, twisting ankle with a pop that buckled me. Pain lanced hot, white, drawing a curse. Easy, Harlan knelt, hands gentle, probing. Sprained, not broke. He fashioned a splint from his bandana and a stick, tying with care, his touch healer soft. Lean on me. I did, hobbling back, his shoulder solid under my arm, our steps sinking pained but synced. In the cabin, he propped my foot, ice wrapped in cloth. Cold seeping through sock, numbing ache. Stay put, he ordered, brewing tea with herbs from his stash, the steam herbal and soothing. Propped on pillows, I watched him fuss, endearing this big man with gentle hands. You're good at this, I said, sipping, the warmth spreading. Plenty practice. Hunts gone wrong, Sarah's bad days. Mention of her didn't sting now, more like shared history. He sat beside me, hand on my knee, thumb circling. Means you're stuck. Lucky me. Night fell velvet, stars pricking clear. Dinner was simple, grilled cheese, gooey and comforting, eaten cross-legged on the bed, crumbs scattering like confetti. Talk flowed easy, dreams of exhibits for me, expanding the hunt guide business for him. Together, he said, eyes shining. You shoot the tours, I lead him. The vision hooked deep, roots taking. Later, mindful of my ankle, we moved slow, him atop, careful, kisses lingering like wine. His whispers feathered my skin. Beautiful, mine. Building to shudders shared, quiet and profound. Sleep came deep, his body curled protective, but dreams stirred uneasy. Jake's face morphing to disapproval, roads forking endless. Morning brought sun, ankle throbbed less, but a truck's rumble shattered peace. Roy again, this time with news. Sarah's comin' tomorrow. Needs to talk land. Harlan's face paled, hands squeezing mine under the table, hidden. Tomorrow, he echoed, voice flat. The word loomed, a guillotine. After Roy left, dust settling, Harlan paced, boots thudding heavy. She wants divorce papers signed. Clean break. Relief flooded, chased by terror. What now? And us? I stood, limping to him, hands on his chest, feeling heart race wild. He crushed me close, kiss fierce, tasting of fear and fire. Us is the start. But as we packed my Jeep, ankle braced, camera stowed, the air thickened with unspoken. Rain clouds gathered distant, promising more storms and driving away. His figure shrinking in the mirror, I gripped the wheel, tears blurring the road. Lost no more, but found in a love that demanded everything. The highway unspooled like a lifeline, blacktop shimmering heat mirage under tires that hummed steady, but my mind replayed Harlan's goodbye. His kiss lingering on lips, rough hands cupping face, eyes promising forever in a whisper. Call when you hit Alliance. We'll plan. Alliance came and went, a blur of gas station coffee bitter as doubt, motel bed lumpy and lonely, sheets smelling of bleach instead of him. My ankle throbbed dully, a reminder wrapped in his bandana, faded scent of him clinging like hope. Denver loomed 2 days out, but I detoured, chasing light through badlands. Canyons carved red by time, eagles wheeling silent overhead. Camera clicked frenzy, framing desolation that mirrored the hollow in my chest. Jake's calls piled up, voicemails gravelly pleas. Alex, baby, let's talk. I fucked up. Delete. Each one chipped at resolve, whispers of easier paths. But Harlan's texts grounded, simple, steady. Miss your laugh. Sarah signed. Free as the wind. Free. The word ignited, but fear shadowed. What if distance eroded us, turned passion to ash? Nights blurred in roadside dives, neon buzzing like nerves, burgers greasy and solitude heavy. One bar in Cheyenne, cowboy hats and twangy jukebox. I nursed a whiskey, ice clinking lonely. A guy sidled up, blonde, built, eyes hungry. Buy you a drink? His hand brushed my arm, electric but wrong. I pulled back, mumbling excuse, fleeing to the jeep where stars wheeled indifferent. Harlan's voice echoed, "Truth don't fade." I called then, first time, his hello rumbling warm through speaker. "Miss you already?" I breathed, engine ticking cool, crickets chorusing outside. His laugh, deep and real, wrapped me. "Ankle Holden? Shoot any masterpieces. Plenty, but none with that face." Banter flowed, easing ache, until he sighed. "Roy's talkin'. Town gossip. Saw us hikin'. Thinks you're a city queer corruptin' me." The word hit like slap, but his tone dismissed it. "Letching talk. We're buildin' somethin'." We talked hours, plans solidifying, me relocating partial, cabin additions for a darkroom. Sleep came after, phone clutched like talisman, dreams of his touch ghosting skin. Days melted into Denver gig, a magazine spread on urban decay, warehouses hulking shadows under sodium lights. I shot mechanical, focus split, until a call mid-setup. Harlan, voice tight. "Sarah's here, packin' her things. But she's a skin to meet you." Shock froze me, lens forgotten. "Meet? Why?" "Says she needs to see the man who gave me back my soul." Pause, heavy. "Tomorrow? Neutral ground, coffee shop in town." I agreed, gut churning, hanging up to thunderous applause from crew. Shots aced, oblivious to my turmoil. Night in a sterile hotel, city hum mocking rural quiet. I paced carpet worn thin, imagining her. Petite, sharp-eyed, the woman who'd held Harlan's hand through storms I couldn't fathom. Drive back east, dawn lit, coffee sloshing thermos, heart hammering like bad brakes. The shop was a hole-in-wall, formica table scarred, bell jingling entry like alarm. Harlan waited in a booth, flannel crisp, beside a woman small-boned, hair silver-streaked, eyes blue as his but softer, lined with quiet strength. "Sarah." She stood, handshake firm, palm cool and calloused, gardener's hands. "Alex," she said, voice steady, accented faint Nebraska. "Heard a lot. Sit." We did. Awkward triangle, coffee steaming aromatic, dark roast, cutting tension. Harlan's knee pressed mine under table, anchor. Sarah stirred sugar slow, spoon clinking deliberate. Harlan's been half alive for years. Watched him fade after my diagnosis. Then you. Her gaze held, assessing, not unkind. Brought color back. "Thank you." Words stuck, throat dry. He's everything." She nodded, sipping, the slurp soft and hush. "I know. That's why I'm leavin'. Townhouse in Lincoln, friends, art classes. But this place, it's his. Yours if you want. A smile ghosted, wistful. Love him fierce, Alex. Or don't come back. The charge landed, raw and real. Harlan's hand found mine atop table, visible now, claim staked. She means it, he murmured, thumb stroking knuckles. Sarah rose, hugging him brief, scent of lavender lingering. Then me, surprising, bony arms strong. Be good to each other. Door chimed exit, leaving us breathless. Harlan exhaled, long and relieved, pulling me across for a kiss, public, defiant, tasting of cream and courage. She's right. You're my everything. We drove back cabin ward, windows down, wind whipping hair, radio crooning Springsteen, born to run, but choosing stay. Unpacking my gear that afternoon, boxes thumping wood floors, felt like roots sinking. Harlan helped, muscle straining lifts, sweat beading brow, drawing my eyes. Darkroom here, he pointed, closet space. Your touch. Dusk brought grill out. Steak searing juicy, smoke curling lazy, potatoes foil wrapped hissing. We ate porchside, feet tangled, stars emerging like blessings. Talk turned dreams. My exhibit pitch, his guide expansion. Together, he said. Fork waving emphatic, juice dripping chin. I leaned, licking it off, kiss sparking to more. Inside on kitchen counter, urgent and laughing, his hands everywhere. My name a mantra. But night deepened. Fire banked low, and shadows lengthened. A knock late, insistent. Harlan answered, me hovering to Roy, face thunderous, bottle in fist. Heard 'bout Sarah. And you too. Fucking abominations on my sister's land. Words exploded, Harlan's roar defensive, Roy's slurs cutting vile. I stepped forward, voice steady. Love's no abomination. Get out. Roy lunged, fist swinging wild, but Harlan blocked, shove sending brother sprawling porchward. Enough. Blood or not, you cross that line again, we're done. Roy scrambled up, spitting gravel, eyes venom. Town'll hear. Lose everything. Truck peeled out, taillights red rage, leaving silence ringing. Harlan sagged against door, breath ragged. I pulled him inside, arms wrapping tight. He won't, I whispered, though doubt gnawed. We held, hearts sinking frantic, until calm returned. Tea-steeped chamomile, soothing sips by fire. Sleep evaded, bodies entwined but minds racing. What if he spreads it? Harlan murmured, fingers tracing my spine. Then we face it, together. Kiss sealed it, slow and sure, leading to lovemaking tender. Exploring familiar territories with new reverence, gasps soft, climaxes whispered waves. Dawn crept, pink promise, but Roy's threat lingered like fog. Morning brought calls, Harlan's buddy, neutral ear, gauging damage. Whispers startin', but folks know you, man. Stand tall. We did hike short, my ankle mending, hand in hand trailside, defying eyes that might watch. Lunch picnic, sandwiches thick ham, creekside, toes in water cool. Afternoon, darkroom setup, chemicals sharp acrid, red light glow intimate. Harlan watched, mesmerized as images bloomed, his face materializing paper, vulnerable captured. Magic! He breathed, arms circling waist from back. You're the magic? I turned, kissing amid trays, solution dripping forgotten. Heat built, but we banked, work first, passion simmer. Evening, town run for supplies. Grocery fluorescent harsh, stares subtle but there. Cashier nodded cool, but whispers trailed. Back home, unloading bags rustle, Harlan paused. Proud of us. Kiss quick, affirming. Dinner pasta al dente, sauce tomato rich, eaten candlelit, romance deliberate. Night wound slow, bath shared, tub steaming eucalyptus, bodies slick soapy, touches turning erotic, water sloshing rhythmic to moans. As we dried, towels rough, Phone rang, unknown. Harlan answered, face draining. Roy, he's hurt. Crash. Hospital. World tilted, guilt crashing. We go, I said, dressing hasty. Drive night black, wipers swishing phantom rain. Hospital lights glaring sterile. Roy in bed, bandaged, eyes dull but softening at Harlan. Sorry, brother, said shit. Drove mad. Harlan gripped hand, tears unshed. Family, always.
Fort Gin Hung, Healing Fractal.
We left late, air thick reconciliation, stopping overlook, stars vast, arms around each other. We endure, Harlan whispered. Kiss sealing vow under infinite sky. The hospital's antiseptic sting clung to our clothes like accusation. Even hours later, as we pulled into the cabin drive, gravel popping under tires like spent shells. Harlan killed the engine, silence amplifying the cricket's frantic chorus. His hands still white-knuckled on the wheel. Roy's crash, swerving off-road in drunken fury, truck wrapped around a cottonwood. Could have been fatal, a mirror to the wreckage words inflict. He's stable, Harlan murmured, voice hollow, staring at the dash glow. Broken ribs, concussion, but alive. I reached over, covering his hand. Cold despite summer night, pulse fluttering erratic under my thumb. You did right going. Forgiving. The words felt inadequate, but true, tasting of the mint gum I chewed to kill the bile of fear. He turned, eyes shadowed in moonlight slicing through windshield, pulling me across console for a kiss, desperate, tasting of salt from unshed tears. Couldn't lose him, not like this. Hands framed my face, thumbs brushing cheeks. Not you either. Inside, cabin welcome dim, fireplace cold, but we lit candles, flames guttering soft on mantle, wax dripping like confessions. Tea steeped chamomile again, steam curling herbal comfort, sipped on couch as night deepened. Talk meandered, Roy's history, wild youth tamed by farm, softened by Sarah's influence. He'll come round, Harlan said, conviction growing with each swallow. Seen it before. I nodded, leaning head on his shoulder, flannel soft under cheek, his heartbeat steadying mine. Like us. Fingers laced, we sat long, silence companionable, broken by yawns and the distant owl's hoot. Solitary call echoing our earlier isolation. Bed called, sheets cool invitation, bodies seeking heat. Undressing slow, deliberate. His shirt peeled, revealing chest hair dark and curling, my jeans shucked with sighs. We explored lazy, lips mapping collarbones, fingers teasing nipples to peaks, breaths mingling hot. Love this, he groaned, hand wrapping me firm, strokes building languid fire. I reciprocated, mouth hot on him, drawing curses velvet. Entry was gentle, faces inches, eyes locked, thrusts deep, rhythmic, climax cresting shared, shudders rippling like aftershocks. Sleep wrapped us, limbs tangled, but dawn yanked awake. Phone shrill, Harlan answering groggy. Dad? Yeah, we're coming to... He hung, rubbing eyes. Roy's the skin for us. Breakfast at the house. The old farmhouse loomed 10 miles out, sagging porch and fields gold-stubbled, air thick with coffee and bacon as we entered. Harlan's parents. Ma with apron flour dusted, Pa grizzled at table, hugged stiff, but warm. Roy propped in chair, bruised plum, managed grin. Oh you bro. And Alex, sorry for the bullshit. Handshake awkward, but real, palms meeting rough, eyes holding apology. Ma bustled plates. Eggs sunny, toast butter melted, talk skirting careful. Weather, harvest, avoiding undercurrents. Pa cleared throat post-meal, pipe tobacco scent wafting. Heard whispers. Don't give 'em air. Nod to us, gruff approval. Drive back buoyant, windows down, wind singing through hair. Family, Harlan said, hand on my thigh squeezing. All of 'em now. Afternoon free, we tackle darkroom finish, shelves hammered, chemicals shelved neat, red bulb tested glow. Harlan's enthusiasm charmed, big hands careful with trays, questions peppered. This the enlarger? Laughter when solution splashed, wiping mutual with cloths damp. Sun dipped, painting hills amber, we hiked short trail, hand in hand, no hiding. Meadow wildflowers nodded breeze, bees humming lazy. Picnic impromptu, cheese, apples crisp, eaten blanket spread, heads together, feeding bites with fingers sticky sweet. Kisses followed, lazy to heated, rolling grassward, bodies pressing urgent. Here, he murmured, eyes wicked. Everywhere, I gasped, hands unbuckling belts, joining in open air, sun-warm skin, wind-cooling sweat, thrusts sinking bird calls, ecstasy arched skyward, cries muffled lips. Evening town errand, feed store for Harlan, me browsing notions. Stares lingered, but nods replaced glares. Gossip cooling, curiosity peaked. Dinner out first time, diner booths vinyl sticky, pie a la mode melting bliss. Booth corner, knees touched constant, footsie teasing under table. Home late, moon full witness, we bathed quick, soap lathering mutual, giggles echoing tile. Bed lovemaking playful, positions switched laughing, tickles turning moans, release giggling gasps. But idle cracked next dawn, magazine editor call, exhibit greenlit, Chicago next month. Big break. Elation surged, but tug of war. Leave Harlan or stall career? News shared over oatmeal steamy, Harlan's spoon paused midair. Go, shine. I'll be here, waitin'. Pride swelled his voice, but eyes flickered loss. Guilt gnawed, day shadowed, chores mechanical, barn mucking hay-scented, his touches seeking reassurance. Proud, he repeated, hay-tangled hair, kiss forehead stamped. Afternoon, Roy visited, truck rumbling, beers cracked porch. Talk healed, love's love, Roy grunted, clinking bottles. Ma always said, brotherhood mended, Harlan lighter, grilling burgers smoky, us joining, spatula flip sizzle, buns toasting char meal festive, stories swapped, hunts gone comic, my city mishaps. Night, stargazing blanket laid, meteor streak wonder. Wish, Harlan prompted, arm pillowing head. Together always, I whispered, turning kiss deep. Lovemaking starlit, slow rocks, whispers vowing, climaxes silent screams. Chicago loomed, packing bittersweet, suits folded crisp, camera oiled. Drive airport tear blurred, Harlan's goodbye kiss endless. Call every night. Love you, echoed boarding gate swallow. Plain ascent, earth shrinking, heart split, skyward ambition, grounded love.
Texte en route, Landed Saf.
Miss you fierce. Weeks blurred, city chaos, gallery white walls echoing footsteps, schmoozing wine sour. Exhibit opening glitter, flashes popping, critics murmuring approval, but hollow without Harlan's hand. Calls nightly, voices bridging miles. Sold 3 prints. Crowd loved the ridge shots, you mostly. His laugh warmed. Knew it. Cabin waitin', empty bed not. Return flight heart racing, touchdown Nebraska soil kissable. Harlan waited arrivals. Signs scrawled my shutterbug. Grin splitting beard. Crush reunion. Hug bone melting. Kiss airport public defiant. Drive home sunset streaked. Hands clasped gear shift. Cabin aglow. Dinner candlelit. Steak rare bloody. Wine red velvet. Toasts clinked. To us. Bed passion reignited. Reunion fierce. Bodies reclaiming. Moans echoing absence. Never again, he growled, thrusts claiming. Sleep content, but morning brought twist. Letter mailbox. Town council, Land use query. Whispers fueling zoning fight. They comin' for the farm? Harlan paled, paper crinkling fist. Storm new brood. Love tested afresh. We fight, I said, hand his taking. Together always. The letter crinkled in Harlan's fist like a defeated flag, ink stark against yellowed paper. Preliminary review of property usage variances. Agricultural zoning compliance required. Town council seal glared official. A bureaucratic wolf at our door. We sat kitchen table. Coffee gone cold in mugs. Steam long evaporated. The tick of the wall clock mocking our stunned silence. Outside, dawn painted the fields rosy, oblivious to the shadow creeping over our haven. Variances, I echoed, voice thin, scanning legalese blur. Because of us. Harlan exhaled slow, breath stirring the paper's edge. Roy's mouth turned whispers to complaints. Folks think I'm running a den or something. His laugh barked bitter, rubbing temples, lines deepening like plowed furrows. Anger flared hot in my chest, tasting metallic. This is bullshit. Love's not a zoning violation. I stood, pacing linoleum cool under socks, fists clenching. The cabin, our sanctuary. Wood beams groaning soft in breeze, shelves of my prints mingling his jars. Felt suddenly fragile, paper thin. He rose, hands on my shoulders, firm, steadying, thumbs kneading tension. Ain't losing this. We'll fight. Eyes locked, steel glinting through fear. He pulled me close, foreheads touching, breaths sinking ragged. Together. First strike, call to a lawyer buddy in Lincoln. Harlan's voice steady on speaker, explaining Sand's details, legalese bouncing back. Precedent for live-in partners on AG land. But hearings, public, brace for scrutiny. Brace. The word hung, heavy as storm clouds massing west. Days blurred strategy. Documents rifled, yellow pads scribbled notes, coffee fueling late nights. Harlan's touch anchored. Kisses stolen mid-research, hands wandering files aside, reminding life beyond paper wars. Afternoon, we escaped to river, wading cool shallows, skipping stones plinking defiance. His arm around waist, water lapping calves, we talked dreams amid splashes. Win or lose, we adapt, he said, stone arcing perfect 5 skips. Cabin extension, or new start elsewhere. Adapt. Nodded, but heart clung stubborn to the soil, scented sage and sweat. Picnic followed. Leftover pie crumbly sweet, fed fingers sticky, leading to lovemaking bankside. Grass cushioning, sun dappling skin, thrusts urgent against threat. Ours, he gasped, release sealing vow. Back, Roy arrived unannounced. Truck dust settling, face contrite. My fault. Stirred the pot. Beers cracked, porch swing creaking under weight. Council's old guard, Bible thumpers. But Ma's rallying support. Bake sale tomorrow. Signatures hidden in pie crusts. Laughter broke tension, Harlan clapping back. Solid thwack, brotherhood renewed. Night, family dinner farmhouse. Ma's lasagna layered cheesy. Talk skirting careful. Pa's grunt approval. Land's yours. Hold it. Sleep sound, Harlan snores rumbling lullaby. But dreams twisted, council chambers echoing slurs. Our hands torn asunder. Hearing dawned crisp, town hall wood-paneled stuffy. Fans whirring lazy overhead. We sat front row, Harlan's knee bouncing mine calm. Suits starched me in button-down crisp, him flannel neat. Council filed in, faces stern as granite. Mayor Hargrove, hawk-nosed, gavel-banging order. Petitions read, dry recitals variances, then public comment. Whispers swelled, immoral influence, property values. Stomach knotted, Harlan's hand squeezed hidden, sweat slick, fierce. Then allies rose, Ma, apron fresh. Harlan's boy, through and through. Love don't change that. Neighbor farmer, Overalls faded. Best hunter. Best neighbor. Li Yingbi. Roy. Bandaged proud. Family matter. Back off. Slurs countered, but tide turned. Votes murmured. Gavel final. Compliance affirmed. Case closed. Relief crashed. Harlan's whoop echoing. My hug crushing amid applause. Outside, sun blinding. Hugs abounded. Ma's teardamp. Roy's backslap bruising. Drive home euphoric. Windows down. Radio blasting triumph. Arms waving air drums. Cabin aglow. Celebration spontaneous. Steaks grilled charry. Wine flowing loose. Dancing kitchen clumsy. Spins laughing dizzy. Bed passion victorious. Bodies slick victory sweat. Explorations bold. Cries unbound. We won, he panted. Thrusts celebrating. Climaxes fireworks. But victory bittersweet. My exhibit tour extended. Chicago calling again. Galleries clamoring. 2 weeks. I promised packing. Suitcase zipper rasping farewell. Then home. Airport kiss lingered. Harlan's whisper. Hurry back. Hearts half empty. Tour whirlwind. Cities blurring lights. Crowds adoring Prince. But loneliness gnawed. Hotel beds vast. Calls nightly. Sold out in Boston. Wish you here. His voice anchor. Proud. Cabin prepped. Darkroom stocked. Mid-tour. Surprise. Package arrived hotel. Jerky homemade spicy. Note scrawled. Fuel for the road. Love, H. Tears pricked, biting venison chew tough. Sustaining. Return flight anticipation electric. Touchdown embrace bone melt. Missed you. Chorus. Drive sunset kissed. Hands entwined. Homecoming intimate. Dinner skipped. Straight to bed. Reunion slow savor. Touches relearning curves. Kisses mapping absences. Love-making marathon tender. Forever. Vowed stars witnessing. Months settled rhythm. My shoots local now. Guiding hunts camera ready. Income dual steady. Winters snow muffled. Fireside cuddles. Soups steamy shared. Springs planting. Hands dirt black. Seeds pressed hopeful. One evening. Ridge sunset. Harlan knelt sudden. Ring simple gold. Eyes earnest. Marry me? Make it legal, official. Shock joy burst. Yes tumbling. Kiss ceiling amid cheers. Roy hidden. Grinning witness. Town evolved, acceptance patchwork but growing. Wedding small farmhouse. Ma's cake tiered vanilla. Vows porch said. Rings exchanged sun warm. Dance under strings lights. Bodies close. Hearts synced. Life wove. Exhibit soared. Hunts booked. Love deepened layers. Jake faded memory. Echo distant. Years blurred happy. Cabin expanded. Darkroom studio grand. Child adopted. Toddler curly mischief our son. Teaching casts and clicks. One dawn. Ridge same. Family picnic. Boy splashing creek. Harlan's arm waist. My head shoulder. Found more than directions. He murmured. Kiss temple soft. Found home. Replied. Horizon endless promise. Lost no more in love's vast nowhere. Years folded like well-worn maps. Each crease a story etched deeper into the cabin's grain. Our lives intertwined like the cottonwoods rooting the riverbank. Our son, Eli, adopted at 3, now 7 with Harlan's eyes and my restless curiosity. Dashed ahead on the trail, stick sword slashing air, whoops echoing wild. Dad! Look! Deer track! His voice piped high, mud-splattered sneakers skidding halt, finger jabbing print fresh in loam. Harlan scooped him up, effortless, beard tickling giggles as he swung high. Good eye, scout. That's Buck, big one. We'll track tomorrow. Quiet steps, like ghosts. Eli's Aushone, small hand fisting flannel, and my heart swelled, camera clicking candid. Father-son tableau, golden light filtering leaves, scent of damp earth and boy sweat mingling heady. I lowered lens, smiling soft. Don't forget the camera, kiddo. Document the hunt. Eli nodded solemn, dropped back, scampering ahead, collecting treasures. Shiny rocks, feathers frayed. Harlan fell step beside me, arms slinging casual around shoulders, pulling close. His warmth seeped through tea, familiar as breath, lips brushing temple. He's got your fire, he murmured, voice gravel warm, laced years affection. And you're stubborn? I teased, leaning hip bump, path crunching under boots. The ridge unfolded familiar. Dunes rolling endless, sky vast watercolor blue. Wind whispering sage secrets. We'd built here, not just home but legacy. Darkroom evolved studio, walls hung my exhibits. Soldiered beside his mounted trophies, antlers polished, photos capturing not kills but moments alive. Picnic spread blanket checkered, sandwiches ham thick, apples crisp crunch. Eli devoured, juice dribbling chin, stories tumbling. School escapades, friend pranks, dreams astronaut hunter hybrid. Harlan listened rapt, wiping spills with napkin gentle, eyes crinkling laugh. World's big son, but home's here, hand gesturing us inclusive. Afternoon waned lazy. Eli napping blanket limp, head my lap, Harlan's fingers toying mine. Tracing ring gold banded, engraved, found, memories flickered. That hearing triumph, wedding vows porch whispered. Eli's first dada dual directed, struggles peppered. Zoning echoes in new complaints, squashed quicker. My tour pulls, balanced now hybrid. Roy's passing quiet, cancer thief, but legacy forgiveness. Penny, Harlan prompted, thumb circling palm, pulling present. Just, grateful, voice thick, swallowing lump. Lost boy found his way. He leaned, kiss soft, lingering, Eli stirring murmur but sleeping on. We found each other. Hand cupped cheek, beard rasping tender. Heat stirred low, familiar spark, but banked, family first. Homeward hike, Eli backpack carried drowsy, sunset painting us silhouette. Cabin smoke curled chimney, ma visiting, stew simmering pot, aroma savory wafting welcome. Hugs enveloped, her stories grandkid spun. Table laden bread crusty, chatter lively. Bedtime ritual. Eli tucked quilt starry, tales spun. Hunter-photographer quests, kisses forehead sealed. Downstairs, fire crackled low, wine poured ruby, ma retired guest room. Harlan pulled me lapward, chair creak protesting, mouths meeting slow, wine tang, years deep. Love you, breathed, hands roaming familiar paths, shirt tugged free, love-making fireside. Rugs woven soft, bodies knowing, thrusts measured deep, gasps hushed ma's ear. Climax whispered waves, afterglow curled, his heartbeat lullaby. Morning's routine. Coffee brewing gurgle, Eli's cartoons blare, Harlan's hunts prepped gear clink. My shoots scheduled, magazine spreads local legends, lens capturing heartland soul. Days balanced, Eli school drop, farm chores shared, evenings porch swing, swings creak rhythmic. One fall, exhibit major New York Gallery. Nowhere found titled, Our Story Woven Images. Ridge dawns, river bends, Harlan's gaze captured raw. Opening virtual, but Harlan beamed screenside. Eli waving, Daddy's famous. Return celebrated, diner pie shared, town nods proud. Life peaked gentle. Eli's first hunt, doe spared photo framed. Anniversaries ridge renewed, rings kissed vow. Winter's snow blanket hush, sleds whooshing hills, cocoa mugs steam frothed. Springs burst green, planting knees mud, Eli's hands tiny ours mirroring. Conflict rare now, Teen spats Eli's. Bridge talks honest. Council queries faded. Acceptance woven. Jake crossed once. Chance airport. Aged suit worn. Eyes regret. Happy? Nod mutual. Paths diverged kind. Eli's 10th birthday grand. Farm bash. Cousins romping. Cake chocolate frosted towering.
Dziwc unurapet gle. Camera mini mine. Knife carvet harlands.
Vows renewed casual. Best dads. Eli hugged duel. Years stacked. Eli teen tall. Drives learned cautious. College dreams sparked. Harlan grade handsome. Lines laugh carved. I silvered temples. Lens steady. One eve. Ridge emptiness premonition. Eli off summer camp. Blanket spread. Stars pricked velvet. Harlan's head lap. Full circle. He sighed. Fingers laced. More roads ahead. Replied. Kiss ceiling. Lovemaking nostalgic. Slow savors. Memories layered. Climaxes tender peaks. Legacy bloomed. Eli's photos won youth contests. Hunts guided ethical. Ma past peaceful, stories hers enduring. Decades crested. Cabin weathered proud. Extensions added. Walls photo trophied. Grandkids toddled now. Eli's twins. Chubby fists grabbing. Papa hunt. Papa click. Porch rockers synced creak. Harlan's hand mine gnarled but sure. Worth every mile. He whispered. Sunset gilding faces. Found more than directions. Echoed. Lean kiss eternal. In nowhere's heart. Love's map endless. Meaningful close.